This is inspection number 3 inside Tucker's Knob compartment 11. I've now been through this area and looked at the original trees and taken some video evidence, and I'm now going to come into this area and look at these remnants and see what is in them. The dilemma here in this particular part of the plantation is the condition of the forest, which is really good. There are no weeds in here. There is a very healthy native understory. There are native trees as so-called plantation trees. You can see the size of some of the trees in the past, but this is actually really good, very high conservation value koala habitat. I'm inside the first of the remnants, and I can see a couple of original trees. This is a jackwood, a second jackwood. I've moved across now to this second remnant at the top of this probably water depression. Here's a streamside line. This is still zone plantation, it's just not up for logging. All of this is, and where I'm standing, as I like to say, I've hit gold. This is an absolutely beautiful patch of pure native casuarina forest, or forest oak to be more precise, Allocasuarina torolosa. Here's a lovely tree. There's a lovely citizen scientist in the background with me. There is no plantation here. This remnant's now been checked. Yes, this is all original forest in here. This is the line of clearance. This is native vegetation. There's no large surviving trees in there, but I'm confident to say that this is all native. There's no plantation. We've come along here. Here's a really nice forest oak of nearly 2.4 metres, 2.35. We're inside the remnant area. It's quite a bulge into the plantation here. Here's a really nice native blue gum. And again, this is pure native forest here with rainforest characteristics. So we've come back into that remnant. Now, interestingly, according to us, we are in the delayed thinning. We are not in the stipple blue, which is still zone plantation, but is not plantation. Yes, that is part of that down here, but this whole area here with that large three-pronged Allocasuarina, this one here, all through here, this is all zone plantation, all native. So we've just recentered ourselves to make absolutely sure where we've been and what we've seen. So we've come all through here. This is all native vegetation. Here we're just on the edge of an area that was cleared for plantation. Probably didn't take in here, but the clearance is still here. This is mostly native ground cover, and then the area that we've just come through is in through here, all native. This is, I believe, day 3 of my inspection of the third plantation subunit within compartment 11. I've just come straight through the bush here. I'm up here, and here is an example as where I've been overly conservative in my mapping. So here we can see some natural or more natural looking canopy compared to the plantation area down here. I'm just on the edge of the remnant that I delineated from the photography, and I'm at the head of a little gully. Here is a really nice, quite large flooded gum, possibly maybe a blue gum. I think I'll call it a blue gum. This is about, well, 2.5 meters in the round. There is a brush box next to it. Here is a bloodwood. I want to get to see this bloodwood here. This is pure native forest with rainforest characteristics. I've come just a few meters or so from that blue gum. Inside the plantation on the edge of the remnant, and then here is a really nice pink bloodwood, as I said, and it's in a cluster of really beautiful trees. This is a forest oak with a really nice clump of ferns on it. Here is another bloodwood, and as we go along this remnant area, you can see just how intact it is, yet its own plantation. I've come a little bit further along that area, and I'm inside native forest, inside the plantation area. There's been some disturbance, but I don't think any of this has been planted. That hasn't been planted. It may have coppiced from previous logging, because there's a stump, there's another stump behind it, but I do not see any plantation forestry in here now. Remember, this has not been disturbed since the initial establishment period, and here is a resprout or coppice from that forestry. So this is basically the edge of the clearing and plantation establishment, and this is all natural. So I've come up into this corner here, and this is very much edge effect, and it's really a question here as to how forestry calls it and how I call it. Here we've got a pink bloodwood in the plantation, lots of palms, and a mix of blue gum and blackbutt. I'd call this native forest. But this is why we really need these remnants protected, and we need buffers around them, because otherwise they will just be stripped away. I have been walking around under canopy for a while, so I've just gone back into a patch of sunlight to get a bead back on the satellites. I'm back inside the remnant. I'm a little bit further on from that corner. I've come down here. Here is a native blackbutt, 2.9 meters in the round, still small enough to be cut and classified and sold as plantation, but clearly not. And then over here, a really nice, similarly large blue gum. So again, these remnants are critically important as connectors to the surrounding native forest and need to be included. in any decent reserve design for a koala park. I've just completed surveying all of this remnant now, and I'm between a record that I took up here and down here. All of this is native in here. Haven't had time to take all the records. We'll have to have some citizen scientists come back in here, but it's all native forest. And I'll finish with this forest oak. This is day 4 of my inspection, my third inspection of Tucker's Knob Compartment 11. I've had to find some daylight, skylight, to reorient my GPS receiver. I've been under canopy. I'm wanting to go today into here, maybe into here. So these are the last areas to visit. About to go into here. Here you can see some formation with trees on it. We'll go through the photography. This is in the 80s. This is in the 1960s. You can see some individual trees and some bush here. Here's the 70s. That's filled out a bit. And then we go to the 80s. There's that tree still. And some native veg still in there. Come to the 90s. And again, some native veg. Not any plantation windrowing. So we'll go in there first and have a look. I'll just position myself and check the level of accuracy. .4, 90.4, 57.2. So I know where I am now, and this is about 20 meters or so. So I'll try and get there quickly, and hopefully I'll still be relatively accurate. Here I am in that remnant. The coordinates have held, and it is a rocky knoll with original forest. This is a mature pink bloodwood. There's a Canuka behind there, jackwood, forest oak on that side, an original blackbutt. I'm a little bit further on from that rocky outcrop. I'm still in an area of rocks, and this is native vegetation. Forest oak, another forest oak, some small jackwoods, another forest oak, another forest oak, and you can, and here we go, corkwood, red ash, and you can see that from the photography here. I'm a bit further on. I think I may need to slightly redraw this boundary here. This is a habitat tree, just an old stump, but next to it is a bloodwood. This bloodwood is probably around 150, 160 centimetres in the round. I've come down now into what I mapped as remnant. I'm just on the edge there. Here's a Nice large forest oak. I've come the other side of that log and stump and bloodwood, and again we have forest oak. Here's a small brush box, a small bloodwood, but then again here we're back into the full forest oak. I'm just outside the plantation area now, literally a matter of 2 or 3 meters. Here is a very scuffed tallow wood, looks like koala. If we have a look around the base, here we go. This is definitely koala. Carefully clear away. And if you look at this, it's got those classic striations along it. So I'll get a sample. Even though it's outside the plantation, it's still indicative of the marginal nature of these plantation areas. And I mean marginal in terms of they obviously serve the koalas. The koalas don't stop here. They go up and across into here, because up here is another forest oak. Here is a jackwood. This is a nice little assemblage of koala habitat. And just to show you how literally, truly marginal it is, I'm now inside the plantation, and here is a forest oak of over 2.8 meters, and there is the jackwood, and there is the forest oak, and there is the tallow wood. And here I am at the very end of the remnant. And a large original coastal blackbutt and another large original coastal blackbutt. So this is either day 4 or day 5 in inspection area number 3. I've kind of lost count, but I've come to the end of the journey in compartment 11. I'm not completely sure where I am because I've been under canopy for a while, so there is a degree of inaccuracy here, but I took the record with both iPads having the same coordinates, and I'm at the end of a lovely patch of native forest. This is a giant grandis over 2.5 meters. Over here is a pink bloodwood. This is really awesome natural forest. I've collected my koala scats, and we're ready to bring in the citizen scientists. I've collected as many records as I can along the way. Here they are. Still need to come up in here and get those couple of jackwoods or someone. But you can see there are a significant number of native trees in here, and I am 80 to 90% confident in what I've identified. There's a bit of disturbance down here. There's a bit of disturbance in here. all through here, especially in here. This is native vegetation but no large trees. And then down in here is a big cluster as well. Koala scat here, large habitat tree here. All of these remnants should be protected. And there we are. That's how much I've managed to pick up, probably about 50 trees or so. But there's at least double that in here.